Working around fly box. Today we're going to tie a warm water pattern. It's a warm water pattern that's done very well for me this summer. It was tied last year and fished a little bit, but this year I've gotten a chance to put it to good use. And if you're like me and you're a puddle jumper, chasing the small ponds, the little pockets that aren't completely algaed over in South Jersey through August, this fly will be very effective for you. It's called, in fact, the puddle jumper. And we start off with a Gamakatsu stinger hook. This is size 4 and black 6/0 thread. And we'll start our thread behind the eye and wrap a base back at the midway point of the shank. And then at this point, we're going to bring our thread back to the front. Tie in your wire about an eye length back. It's going to be under everything. And bring it back to the same point. And we're going to bring the wire all the way back to the point of the hook. Right there, and that's where you want it. Okay, next we're going to throw a light coating of super glue from about the halfway point. Might be a little too much, but you want it to hold. And bring your thread through it to the front. You're going to lay your foam. This is razor foam, thin, cut a 1/2 inch wide. You're going to lay it to the halfway point. We're going to tie it in right behind the eye. Right behind the eye. And then keeping it as on top as you can, you're going to wrap back over it. You're going to bind it down. Nothing fancy at this point. Nothing too technical in the fly tying world going on yet. You just want to get it well bound down for the first pass. Then bring your foam over. And you're going to make the head about the same length as the width. Maybe a little bit less. And again, tie it down behind the eye. You just want that big head. It doesn't have to be. I tie it so that I have to push my head back like this to thread my eye. I want it like that. And then before I wrap back over it, I come in, cut it at an angle, and it gives the body a little bit of a taper if you hold it in place. Not much. You're still going to have a very fat body, but it's all foam. And that's what you end up with right there. Now you're going to bring your thread back to the point of the barb again and cover that wire real good. And next you're going to tie in Sculpin Brown. It's Cabela's Woolly Bugger Chenille. And you're going to tie it in right at the back of that body. Kind of helps it build a little bit of a taper there for you. And then bring your thread to right behind the head. Okay, then you're going to palmer your chenille forward and just let the body form its own taper. Bring it up behind the head and tie it off. And clip your excess. Make sure that's bound down good. Make sure you don't push everything too far up over the eye. Like I said, there you go. You want to have to pull it back, thread the eye. That keeps your leader underneath the head real good. So when you're retrieving this fly, it gives you the action you want. It lifts the head up. And next you're going to take 2 strands of brown and black centipede legs. I like to just tie them in the middle, right behind the eye. Just kind of eyeball it, make sure that you're splitting them about even, and then X-wrap it. I don't tie them on the side. I just keep them together. And then once I got them in place, I give a few security wraps and put them where I want them. About a 45-degree angle. You're going to trim them a little bit, so don't worry too much about it. And then your last material that you're going to tie in is micro squirrel strips. This is brown. And you're going to tie this in. I measure it before I tie it in, and I measure it from the end of the head to the shank and to the curve of the hook, and I double that. So it's twice as long as the hook. And you're going to strip off a little bit of the head by the front here. Make sure it's sweeping back. It's a directional hair, so. And I'm going to lay that right up on top behind the eye, behind the head, and bind it down good. Now what you'll find, and what I like a lot about bass flies, is bass flies don't have to make any sense at all. And then we're going to prep our zonker strip. I use saliva. If you're worried about what's on the hair, use a little dish of water or spritzer. But I stand the hair up, and I'm going to take my wire. I'm going to make one turn around the base to set it up where I want it. The wire is small uni wire, gold. I don't know if I mentioned that. And once you got your hair fibers standing up the way you want them, then you're going to part it in a location that's going to make your first wrap. Work around your legs. Don't overthink this part. The only thing you're worried about is keeping it up on top and centered. And then bring it forward. And you're going to start all over again. Separating that hair so you don't trap. If you trap a little bit of it, it's not that big of a deal. And you're just going to make even wraps. You don't want to catch the rubber legs. And you'll have to keep wetting it. I space these fairly wide apart. The only thing the wire is there for is to tie in the squirrel strip. And I'll usually be able to get 3 to 4 wraps in this pattern. I only tie it in this size. It fits all the materials. It's the size that I originally tied it in. And once you get your last wrap of wire up underneath the legs, you're going to bring it forward behind the head. I give it an extra wrap, and then I tie off the wire. Now this isn't a fancy fly. I'm not going to lose any sleep over whether or not the head is tied off perfect, or the wraps are exact, because these things get chewed up. They get scummed up with pond scum. They get chewed up by fish. Bluegills will wreak havoc on it. And then you're going to tie off your head. Like I said, you'll bind everything down, but I'm not that worried about it. The fish that this fly has done the best on and has been the surprise are chain pickerel. Now I clip these off about the length of the shank. I make them all even, or the length of the hook. So I'm bringing them back to where they're about even with the bend of the hook. And there you go. We'll put a little dash of Sally Hansen's to keep that wrap honest. But there it is. Like I said, what I like about bass flies the most is they don't have to make any sense. They have to catch fish though, because they use a lot of materials. They're larger. They suck up your materials, so you don't want to waste your materials on them. But if you find something, a combination that works, it does not have to make sense. You're not matching a hatch. You're making this fly. Bass look at their opportunistic feeders, and they are going to hit anything that looks like food or acts like food. The puddle jumper. It's a cross between about 9 different families of flies. It was put together on this vise last year, and with no rhyme or reason, it catches fish. It's been exceptional this year on chain pickerel. It's brought most of the pickerel that I have caught in the small ponds, countless bass, and bluegills shred this thing to pieces. The bigger gills have really hit it hard. I hope it adds to your box. Good luck on the water.